Imagine spending 12 months building your dream house, painting the walls, buying furniture, making everything exactly the way you want it. Then every September, a bulldozer arrives and flattens the entire thing. Most people would call the police. Ultimate Team players call it a new season. EA Sports FC made more than $1.7 billion in a single quarter last year. So not from football, not from selling copies of the game, from selling digital content inside the game. That's an important distinction because most people still think EA is in the business of making football games. They're not, at least not anymore. Football is the reason people show up. The business is something else entirely. And once you see it, a lot of weird decisions suddenly start making sense. If you've never played Ultimate Team, here's the short version. You buy a football game, launch it, and discover a second game hiding inside the first one. A card collection, the game gives you average players, then better players, then rare players, then very rare players, then players so rare that grown adults spend their evenings watching YouTube videos called the best pack opening method EA doesn't want you to know. Somewhere along the way, football quietly stops being the main attraction. You're no longer building tactics, you're building a collection. It's basically Pokemon. Except these Pokemon sometimes cost real money. And unlike Pokemon, the collection never ends. The license fortress? Most people think EA became dominant because they built the best football game. Maybe. Maybe not. The real answer is much less exciting. Paperwork, contracts, lawyers. For more than 3 decades, EA signed licensing agreements with leagues, clubs, competitions, and player organizations all over the world. The Premier League, La Liga, the Bundesliga, the Champions League, thousands of players, hundreds of clubs, because football fans don't want a football game. They want their football game, their club, their stadium, their childhood heroes, their memories. You can build a technically better football simulator. Building a better football industry is much harder. That's where most competitors eventually hit a wall. The $150 million experiment. Then something funny happened. For 30 years, people assumed FIFA was the valuable part of FIFA. The logo, the name, the brand. Then in 2022, EA looked at a licensing bill worth roughly $150 million a year and decided to run an experiment. They dropped FIFA, kept the Premier League, kept the Champions League, kept the clubs, kept the players, kept the fans, kept the money, which is a very expensive way of discovering that the FIFA logo wasn't nearly as important as everyone thought. Imagine paying rent for 30 years and then realizing you accidentally bought the entire neighborhood years ago. That's basically what happened. EA stopped paying around $150 million a year for 3 letters, and almost nobody cared. Who actually gets paid? Here's a weird question. EA makes billions using real football players. Mbappe, Haaland, Ronaldo, Messi, their faces, their names, their careers, their reputations. So how much of that money actually goes back to them? The answer is less straightforward than most people think. EA usually doesn't pay most players directly. Instead, the company pays leagues, clubs, player associations, and licensing organizations that control image rights. Then that money gets distributed across thousands of players, which creates a strange situation. Ultimate Team generates billions. Superstar players help generate those billions, yet the money flowing back to most players is only a tiny fraction of what EA earns using their likeness. Somewhere inside EA's accounting department, Cristiano Ronaldo is basically an asset class when the side project ate the company. But the real money wasn't hiding inside licenses. It was hiding inside a mode that almost nobody took seriously when it launched. Ultimate Team arrived in 2009 as a small paid add-on, a side mode, a bonus feature, nothing more. 15 years later, it became one of the most profitable ideas in gaming history. Today, live services generate roughly 73% of EA's revenue. Think about that for a second. 73%. EA spent decades building a football game. Nearly 3/4 of the money now comes from selling things inside that football game. Imagine opening a small snack stand behind your restaurant, then waking up 15 years later and discovering the snack stand makes more money than the restaurant. At some point, the side project becomes the company.
Hell yeah!
And that's exactly what happened. EA spent decades building a football simulator. Their shareholders fell in love with a card game.
Yeah.
The maybe business. Now here's where things get interesting. EA doesn't sell Mbappe. EA sells the possibility of Mbappe. That sounds like a small difference. Financially, it's enormous. Because a guaranteed reward has a fixed value. A possible reward has imagination attached to it. Casinos figured this out a long time ago. The most powerful reward isn't a reward, it's maybe the next pack, maybe the next event, maybe the next promotion, maybe this time. For a few seconds, your brain stops behaving like an accountant and starts behaving like a lottery ticket. Most of the time, nothing happens. Then you try again, not because the last pack worked, because the next one might. That single word, maybe, helped build a multi-billion-dollar business. The cash register, next to obsession. And the strangest part is that football fans were almost perfectly designed for this system. Football fans have spent decades building dream squads in their heads. They argue about transfers. They argue about managers. They argue about matches that happened 15 years ago. Some people treat a missed penalty from 2009 like a family tragedy. EA didn't create that obsession. They simply placed a cash register next to it. And honestly, that's one of the smartest business decisions in modern gaming. The company didn't have to create desire. Desire was already there. The company just found a way to charge admission, the match before kickoff. Then another interesting thing happened. The match started before kickoff.
EA Sports.
You load into a game and see the other guy's squad, icons, special cards, players you've never even seen before. And before the ball moves, a question appears in your head. How did he get all that? That's the moment football leaves the room. Because now you're not thinking about tactics, you're thinking about your team. EA understood something incredibly simple about and what people don't compare themselves to companies, they compare themselves to other people, and comparisons are expensive. That's why luxury brands exist. That's why social media works. That's why status survives every generation. The objects change, the mechanism doesn't. Ultimate Team simply turned that mechanism into recurring revenue. The business of almost. Now we get to the most important part of the entire story. A terrible team is bad for business because players quit. A perfect team is also bad for business because players stop spending. The ideal customer lives somewhere in the middle, good enough to stay, frustrated enough to keep upgrading, close enough to believe, far enough to keep paying, and this is where the whole machine reveals itself. EA doesn't sell football, EA sells almost. Almost having the team you want, almost reaching the next level, almost catching up, almost finishing the collection, almost. A completed dream creates a memory. An unfinished dream creates recurring revenue. Suddenly, every strange decision starts making sense. The endless promotions, the special cards, the upgraded versions of players you already own. The feeling that your squad somehow became outdated 3 days after you finally improved it. The machine isn't trying to make you miserable. Miserable players leave. The machine is trying to keep you hopeful. Hopeful players stay. Hopeful players spend. Hopeful players keep believing that the next upgrade will finally solve the problem, even though the problem was carefully designed to never disappear. The annual demolition, and then comes EA's greatest trick, the annual reset. Every year, a new game arrives. Every year, the collection starts over. Every year, the Dream Squad disappears hundreds of hours, sometimes hundreds of dollars. Gone. Think about how strange that is. Apple tries to preserve value. Spotify remembers your playlists. Netflix remembers your watch history. Amazon remembers everything you've ever purchased. Every company on Earth tries to keep your progress. EA deletes it, then charges you to rebuild it, and millions of people line up voluntarily. That isn't a bug. That's the business model. It's also why FC26 launches in 2025 and FC27 launches in 2026, which sounds stupid because it is. But EA isn't selling this year's football, they're selling next year's chase, because the chase is where the money lives. Not the finish line. The finish line is dangerous. The finish line means you're done. The chase means you're still spending. The old dream has to die before the new dream can be sold. That's not game design. That's inventory management. The most valuable card in Ultimate Team, and that's the irony at the center of the entire company. EA spent 30 years convincing people they were buying a football game. The biggest money arrived when football became secondary. Football became the packaging, the emotional infrastructure, the reason people care. The real product became desire, the desire to improve, the desire to catch up, the desire to finish, the desire to finally build the perfect team. And the genius of the system is that the perfect team is never supposed to arrive, because the moment it arrives, the machine slows down. The most valuable card in Ultimate Team isn't Mbappe, it isn't Ronaldo, it isn't Messi, it's hope. Hope never gets injured. Hope never retires. Hope never asks for a transfer. Hope never leaves for another league. Hope keeps opening packs. And For more than a decade, hope has been one of EA's most profitable assets. EA doesn't sell football, EA sells almost, and almost turned out to be worth billions. This is Broke Genius. See you in the next one.